Known for his quick wit and brave speech, Stephen Colbert is used to being in the news, but this time he's really gone for it, with both fans and haters. No one saw this coming, and people are reacting in droves. What did he say, exactly, and why did it get so much attention? Keep reading to find out why. Stephen Colbert's latest shocker is the talk of the world. Stephen Tyrone Colbert was born in Washington, D.C. on May 13, 1964. He grew up in Charleston, S.C., as the youngest of 11 children. While Colbert was only 10, his father and two brothers died in a plane crash in 1974. This was probably the most important event in his life. He grew introverted, finding solace in reading, especially science fiction and fantasy books by authors such as J.R.R. Tolkien. A badly damaged eardrum caused Colbert to lose his hearing in his right ear during a botched surgery when he was a child. Even though Colbert has trouble hearing, he doesn't mind. He even likes doing a trick that involves it. He can turn his right ear, which sticks out a bit, inside out, and then pop it back in place when he winks. Colbert showed it off to David Letterman years ago on The Late Show, saying that his ear is just a prop. Colbert's natural inclination towards humor and performance began to surface in his teenage years at Charleston's Episcopal Porter God School. He participated in school plays where he found an outlet for his creativity. He initially planned to pursue philosophy at Hampton-Sydney College in Virginia, but ultimately decided that his true passion lay in performing. This realization led him to transfer to Northwestern University, where he shifted his focus to theater. Graduating in 1986 after college, Colbert moved to Chicago, where he joined the Second City comedy troupe, first working behind the scenes. In time, he took improv classes and eventually joined Second City's traveling group, performing across the country. It was here that he met fellow comedians Amy Sedaris and Paul Dinello, with whom he formed a lasting creative partnership together. They created and starred in two television comedies, Exit 57, a sketch show, and Strangers with Candy, a satire of after-school specials. The latter became a cult favorite, eventually inspiring a movie adaptation in 2005 and 1997, just before Strangers with Candy was picked up by Comedy Central. After Jon Stewart and Colbert joined The Daily Show, Colbert became famous as a conservative reporter. His part on The Daily Show quickly gained popularity, setting the stage for his rise in comedy and paving the way for a successful career in television. By the early 2000s, Colbert had made a name for himself as a comedian known for his satirical deadpan humor, and his career was well on its way to fame in the fall of 2005. The Colbert Report began airing on Comedy Central as a starchy, blustery, right-wing host. Colbert parodied pundits who ruled the talk show airwaves. The show was quickly one of Comedy Central's highest rated, bringing in over 1 million viewers per episode in its first week. The Colbert Report is a comic show that was made by Stephen Colbert. Instead of just having fun, people talked about politics and the news. Stephen made up a fake conservative newscaster who was too much and always thought he was right. Stephen Colbert was another name for this person. He seemed and acted very serious, but he was actually a funny and over-the-top parody of a few different types of newscasters. Stephen made fun of lawmakers and the news media by trying to be this person, strange and funny at the same time he did this. 6 months after the Colbert Report began, Colbert appeared as the featured speaker at the 2006 White House Correspondents Association dinner with President George W. Bush and First Lady Laura Bush just a few feet away. Colbert proceeded to give an off-color tirade that left the audience silent and had the critics split. Some praised him, and others said he had crossed the line into disrespect. The controversy only ignited his fame, though. The Colbert Report became a Comedy Central powerhouse, winning several Emmys, including 2013 and 2014 awards for Best Variety Series in April 2014. After David Letterman announced his plans to retire in 2015, Colbert was chosen to replace him as host of The Late Show. Colbert expressed that being a guest on David Letterman's show had been a highlight of his work. He admitted he had never thought he would follow in Letterman's footsteps. noting that everyone in late-night television looked up to Dave as a leader. Colbert added that he was thrilled and thankful CBS had chosen him for the part, humorously remarking that he now needed to go and grind a gap in his front teeth. The Late Show took some time to find its new voice after premiering with Colbert on September 8, 2015. But it eventually climbed to the top of the ratings thanks to the host's deft handling of politically charged humor, especially after President Donald Trump began dominating the news cycle. Colbert also became known for recurring segments like Big Questions with even bigger stars, which had him gazing up at the sky with his guest and engaging in absurd philosophical hypotheticals. As Colbert got used to his job on The Late Show, he found a voice that people all over the world could relate to. He understood and appreciated David Letterman's history, but he also made room for his own brand of humor, which keeps late-night TV fresh and fun. When Colbert changed, it was the start of a new era in both his career and late-night comedy, where he successfully mixed funny lines with serious conversations after the COVID-19 outbreak shut down production on The Late Show in March 2020. As his contract ended at the end of June 2023, Colbert made news by taping monologues from his porch, bathtub, and other home locations. Colbert signed an extension with CBS to stay with the network through at least 2026. Financial details of the agreement weren't made public, but Colbert's annual salary is thought to be around $15 million under his previous deal, just like his career. Colbert's personal life is full of fascinating changes and turns. In 1990, Colbert reportedly returned home to contemplate his future after getting a fish or cut bait ultimatum from his then-girlfriend. He told his mom about the choice, and she offered up some wise advice. If you don't know, it's not right. The same night, Colbert had a chat with his mother. Colbert went a musical premiere at the Poeto Festival and unexpectedly met the woman who'd become his bride. "I'll never forget it," he told the paper. "I walk in and I see this woman across the lobby and I think, that one right there. At that moment I thought, that's crazy. You're crazy, Colbert." And it turned out I was right. Colbert's mom remembers that terrible night too. He spent the whole evening talking to her. Colbert has been married to his wife, Evelyn, since 1993. They have 3 children, a daughter called Maylene, born in 1995, as well as sons Peter, born in 1998, and John, born in 2002. Despite decades worth of fame, Colbert's personal life seems pretty normal. Stephen and his family are very happily established. You can always see him with his family. Family and society have always been important to him. In a 2005 interview with the New York Times, Colbert shared that he had a loving wife and classified himself as oddly normative. He stated that he often read to his children at night, adding, "I am big on hugging. We are very silly." Colbert is supposedly a devout Irish Catholic who attends church every Sunday with his family. He's even been known to teach Sunday school when he gets the time. He hasn't tried to hide the fact that his beliefs affect how he feels about different moral and social problems. He uses his faith to make fun of the world, which is how Colbert sees things. A lot of the time, his friendly and open tone will allow him to have deep talks about justice and kindness. Colbert often shows off his singing chops on his show. But did you know that he's a Grammy winner and Broadway star too? Colbert got a Grammy Award in 2009 for A Colbert Christmas during the musical Christmas special. He apparently shows himself to be a true song and dance man, the triple threat, and even got his pal Stewart in on the action, singing a duet on the instant classic. Can I interest you in Hanukkah, though? Stephen Colbert is known for his humor and bringing smiles to countless faces. Few know the deep sadness he carries in his heart. The tragedy he experienced will leave you heartbroken in a deeply personal and intimate talk about loss and grief on Anderson Cooper's new podcast. Stephen Colbert opened up about the value of learning to love the thing you most wish had never happened. On September 11, 1974, Colbert's father and 2 brothers, close in age, Paul and Peter, were passengers on a plane making a short flight from Charleston to Charlotte, North Carolina. Eastern Airlines Flight 212 flying on a small DC-9 plane, had 82 passengers on board and seemed to be making a routine approach toward Douglas Municipal Airport. The flight never made it to Douglas, crashing 3 miles shy of its planned runway on a hillside covered with cornfields. It was a foggy morning, and the plane's crew, according to cockpit records, lost track of the altitude, but it wasn't just a matter of inclement conditions. The real problem was that the pilots weren't exactly paying attention. Regardless of the exact reason of the crash, it was catastrophic. Only 13 of the 82 people on board escaped the initial impact, and in the end, 72 people died from the crash. Among the losses were James Paul, and Peter Stephen Colbert shared that for years, he thought the loss of his father and brothers was his secret name. He stated that he liked the idea of having a secret name, one that no one could truly pronounce, because it represented who he really was. He described this secret name as having a magical quality, and for him, it was tied to the sadness of his family's tragic loss, after the unexpected loss of his father and brothers. The 10-year-old Stephen Colbert was left to grow up alongside his heartbroken mother. He shared that, for a long time it was just the two of them. However, witnessing his mother's pain taught him how to cope with his own grief. He credited her example for helping him avoid bitterness, saying, "By her example, am I not bitter? By her example, she was not broken. Yes, bitter, no." Colbert explained that his way of handling immense heartache was to embrace it. He said that he had to learn to love the bomb, and described the experience of losing his father and brothers as a huge explosion, which he ultimately learned to accept with the absence of his father and 2 brothers. Colbert shared that he dedicated much of his time to reading. He revealed that he would read a book a day and spent all of his allowance on books, requesting books for every birthday, confirmation, and Christmas. Colbert's love of reading wasn't the only aspect of his adult life that stemmed from spending so much time with his mother. Colbert admitted that lightening his mother's spirits after what she went through was what first drew him to comedy. He said that there was no doubt he pursued his career to make his mother happy, adding that he had a strong desire to cheer up a sad woman, although he was 10 when his father and brothers passed away. Stephen Colbert was almost twice that age before the profundity of their deaths would really hit him. He admitted that he didn't truly feel the loss until he was in college. He shared that during his freshman year, he started at around 185 lbs, but by the end of the year, he had dropped to 135 lbs, describing himself as just green and overwhelmed with sadness. Colbert theorized that the reason it took so long for him to truly feel the weight of his loss was because he was no longer living at home. He explained that when he finally had time to be alone with the reality of their absence, it hit him hard. He shared that although it felt like a long time then, looking back at age 48, it now seemed like the blink of an eye. He found the experience with theater to be completely cathartic after having a tough year in school. Colbert explained that during this time, he was practicing Stanislavski and Meisner techniques, and in doing so, he was sharing his pain with everyone around him. He described it as being as much a form of therapy as it was an acting exercise. The belated impact of his father and brother's deaths may have hit him like a ton of bricks at the time, but he's since come to experience grief in an entirely different way. He later told me grief is its own thing. It's not like it's in me and I'm going to deal with it. It's a thing, and you have to be okay with its presence. If you try to ignore it, it will be like a wolf at your door. Colbert credited his mother for shaping his perspective on life. He explained that he was not bitter about his childhood experiences and that his mother played a key role in preventing him from feeling that way. According to Colbert, she taught him to be grateful for life no matter what it involved. He shared that his mother helped him understand that the relief God offers from pain is not the absence of pain, but rather that pain itself can be a gift. He reflected, saying that God doesn't really give you another choice. That lesson would later come in handy when he had to deal with yet another tough loss later in life. In 2013, Colbert lost his mother, Lorna, who'd passed at 92. He had taken some time off from the Colbert Report to be with her in her final days. When he returned to his show following her funeral, he broke character, hitting pause on his depiction of the zany, far-right talk show host that he'd been portraying since The Daily Show and delivered a tearful monologue in tribute to her. Colbert attributed much of his success to his mother, saying, "When you watch this show, if you also like me, that's because of my mom." He went on to share details about her past and how it had shaped him. She recalled that she had trained to be an actress when she was younger and would teach her children how to perform stage falls by pretending to faint on the kitchen floor. He described her as fun, highlighting how her playful nature influenced his own sense of humor. Colbert went on to talk about how she overcame the hardships of losing her loved ones, and added that, in his last conversation with her, she could only remember a child's prayer she used to tell his siblings at bedtime. Her favorite memory of prayer was that of a young mother tucking in her children. "We were the light of her life, and she let us know it till the end." Colbert concluded his speech by stating that his mother wanted him to keep working, and with that, he continued the episode. "What do you get from loss?" he asked rhetorically in his conversation with Cooper. "You get awareness of other people's losses, which allows you to connect with that other person, which allows you to love more deeply and to understand what it's like to be a human being, if it's true that all humans suffer, since its first episode in 2005. The Colbert Report has mostly served to make us laugh, but Stephen Colbert, both as his over-the-top ultra-conservative character and as his normal self, has had a cultural impact that runs deeper than a few giggles. A number of comedians have played a significant role in advancing the centrality of satire in public discourse today, but Stephen Colbert might well have been one of the most important of all. The Colbert character offered the public a series of unique features of satirical comedy. First, and perhaps most importantly, Colbert played a hyper-patriot. Colbert, along with the Colbert Nation, his audience of hardcore followers, offered an alternative that was both funny and nuanced, next by embodying a pundit. Colbert was able to critique the dangers of the hyperbolic, divisive, and inflammatory nature of most punditry. Time and again, Colbert reminded viewers that a nation that votes out of fear is not a healthy democracy. This leads directly to a third crucial aspect of his persona: the unique ways it fostered critical thinking and engaged discourse. One of the key features of Colbert's satire has been the way he works to expose logical fallacies, faulty arguments, and false binaries. One of the best examples of this was his recurring segment, The Word, where Colbert delivered a prepared monologue as text bullets flashed on a graphic to his right. Tit forced the audience to navigate this information in a way that was critically engaging to find the humor the viewer needed to identify hypocrisy. Doublespeak and puns, Stephen Colbert has had a big impact on a new generation of actors and satirists. His unique mix of political knowledge and humor encourages up-and-coming comedians to deal with tough topics in a way that audiences will understand by skillfully combining comedy and analysis. Colbert has shown that he can keep people interested while still talking about important issues. This plan has inspired a lot of aspiring comics because they know that comedy can be a powerful tool for changing society. Colbert made people understand that sometimes, when all goes right, satire combines comedy with just the right amount of political insight and populist energy to make a real difference in how the public understands the most pressing social issues of the day.